What up? What up? What up? This is RJ
What's
Fantasy
up?
Football Talk. You know what it is. It's Rodney and JJ. What's going on, man?
Madness is going on. Week 9 was a beast, but I survived. I went 5-3 overall for the week, so I ain't too mad about it. I'm mad about my Raiders. That's a long story. But just that loss to the Giants, because one of our faithful viewers said that was going to happen. So I was like, how did they lose?
I had y'all winning. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I don't know how y'all lost, but I
I don't
had y'all
know
winning.
how they lost that game, but
Look, it can't be no worse than what we did. Like honestly, we lost to a team that lost a starting quarterback, starting receiver,
receiver.
both starting receivers. Yeah, it's just terrible. Like yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
But
How'd you
what can you
do?
do?
How'd you do though with your
I,
fantasy teams?
Overall, I went 4-2. Went
Okay.
4-2 this week. I lost the game this week I was supposed to win, but I mean, it's cool. I take that L, you know.
uh,
But I'll bounce back this week. I get Brady back this week in that league, so I'm good. I
yeah,
ain't, I ain't tripping
it'll be
too.
all right. Like, hey, week 9 was rough, but week 10, I think we'll return back to normal a little bit. And
Yeah.
now in our game picks, it was it reflected in how bad this week we was.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
I'm on top where I belong, because that's what I do. But I was 7-7. Our producer Sydney also 7-7, and you were only one game behind us at 6-8. I tell you one thing: if you got a good number of picks right last week, then you must have gone underdog everywhere. So,
Yeah, I'm lying because
congrats to your psychicness. Right?
I was surprised with all those. Just the games that were supposed to be teams that won't supposed to win.
Yeah.
Man, it was crazy. It was definitely crazy. But I mean, all in all, what can you say? Week now is a bad week. Bunch of news out there, a bunch of craziness going on. What can you say, man? It's okay. But hey, we're gonna jump right into this thing. We're gonna
Let's go.
start like we always start. We're gonna start with the top quarterbacks of the week. And we're gonna start with Justin Herbert, 32 or 38, 356, 2 touchdowns. Matt Ryan, which I didn't expect this, but Matt Ryan,
Yeah.
23 to 30, 343, 2 touchdowns. This one here, Josh Johnson came in relief of Mike White with 27 to 41, 317, and 3 touchdowns. Actually played good when he came in too. Carson Wentz,
Hold
20.
up. Before you move on to Josh Johnson, let me get in here sometimes.
Okay, go ahead.
The crazy thing about Josh Johnson is apparently it doesn't matter who the quarterback is for the Jets other than Zach Wilson, because everybody that's came out balling. And unfortunately, Josh Johnson helped absolutely no one in fantasy because nobody
Nobody had
was
him.
nobody was playing him.
Nobody had him.
Yeah,
Nobody thought
exactly.
about getting him. So yeah, and then I'm gonna show you Monster Love. Carson Wentz, 22 of 30, 272, 3 touchdowns. Carson Wentz, I will say this, has been playing better this year than he was last year, slightly. But
Slightly.
I think that's better. That's just because of the coaching situation. Lamar Jackson made the list, but I put him here for a reason.
Because he was good,
Um,
but tell me your
no,
reason.
no, no. He was good, and then I didn't want to put somebody else up here because I just
Okay.
don't like that guy. 27 to 41, 266, 3 touchdowns. He did have 2 picks.
Yeah.
And I threw Justin Fields up here because I think Justin Fields is finally starting to come around and actually get it.
Yeah.
He's seeing the field better. He's actually playing much better. They're not winning, obviously, but
Yeah.
he is definitely the speed of the game is he's catching up to that. He's understanding the game of the NFL.
I don't think he
Um,
had like a great game as far as some of the other impact players you're talking about. But if you have Justin Fields in your lineup, even if he's on your bench, you had to be encouraged because I think this was his best game
oh yeah,
overall. So he's headed in the right direction despite the horrible coaching situation.
yeah,
That game altogether was terrible. I'm pretty sure you watched it because that's what we do.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I couldn't believe we'll talk
Look,
about it some more later. But terrible
I
game,
mean,
terrible referees.
I will say this: the
Yeah,
last 2 weeks, Justin Fields against the 49ers, and this week, he looked really good.
yeah,
Like he's starting to get the feel of the game. Um, like he wasn't graphing it at first,
yeah,
trying to figure out the speed of the game, but now I think it makes me upset even more.
Oh, I know why.
Because Trey Lance could be doing the same thing if the coach would just
if
listen.
you put him in, right?
If you just put him in, he would be in that. That's why I was telling Keith, I was like, Fields and all these other guys that's playing this year, yes, they're not playing well, but they're going to be ahead of Lance next year because of that. So that's what I got at quarterback. If you want to add something to it, definitely.
Well, I'm going to add some bad quarterbacks. One of them is so bad he's out. Sam Darnold, unfortunately, is injured. Expected to miss the next 4 weeks. But, I mean, he only threw for 172 yards, 3 interceptions. It's been terrible. And terrible is an understatement. He was one of my bold predictions. And for the first 3 weeks of the season, I was feeling good. I was like, yo, I'm a genius. And since that point, I was like, I guess Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold. So
yeah,
that's a bummer. Other guy, and this is unfortunate because I know of a few people who needed this guy to produce well for their bye week replacements and injuries. That's Tyrod Taylor, who also threw 3 interceptions, only 240 yards. And my question is, why is this dude even starting? I mean, I know the coach promised him he'd get the job back once he was healthy, but I mean, you got to see what you're not going to have Deshaun Watson. We know that. Tyrod Taylor's not the answer. You drafted a rookie in Davis Mills who wasn't playing great, but like you said about the other guys, he was learning. And, he had it gives them time to grow. So I was like, they're on bye week this week, but they say Tyrod Taylor's going to be the starter when they get back. That's insane. I put Davis Mills in because yeah.
See, the thing with that is they have to. I just think, like you say, all of the rookies this year, they're not great. Let's be honest. Yeah. None of them are great. They're not playing well. Mac Jones ain't even playing well. Mac Jones had 172 yards.
They won, but it wasn't a really good game. But I guess they didn't really need him to be that great. But yeah, but to your point, none of the rookies are playing like Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow did last year.
Yeah,
we're not seeing lights out play. Yeah,
but I do think the advantage they're gonna have going into next year is they're gonna be more prepared to play NFL football over Trey Lance because we have a stubborn coach who that's why over the last 2 weeks, yes, Jimmy has threw for 300 yards, but I'm not putting him up here. I'm not doing it because I watched the full game and I understand it's only a couple of plays how he's getting these yards, and it's not because of him. So I can't give him the credit for it, and I'm not going to do it.
Well, let me welcome first Orlando Lewis to the show. She actually thought we did well with our picks. All things considered, I'm all right with 7-7 for the week. Welcome Nita to this show as well. Another one of our weekly viewers. Not welcome Justin. Go away. We used to be cool. But yes, Justin did call that Raiders upset. I was talking about you earlier in the show. So whatever. I don't care. We'll talk about. We've got a lot to talk about the Raiders later, so it's all good. And thanks for the. And I know Justin, you helped us out with this. We did reach 60 subscribers, so thanks to everyone that's joined. Thanks, Justin. Despite the fact you just keep hating on my Raiders, I don't know what we did to you guys, but thanks a lot. I see you. He also said he made the trade he was talking to you about. So cool.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier today. Not a bad trade. DJ Moore with that quarterback situation, I ain't mad at you. And they say he's supposed to be out. Donald's supposed to be out 4 games. So, so
and PJ Walker, that's going to be a disaster.
Walker, so I think you made it. That was a good trade.
We were talking before the show about Cam Newton. Whoever needs to know this or whoever can do something about it, get Cam Newton back in Carolina because, come on, PJ Walker, Sam Darnold, they're both disastrous. Cam's not the old Cam, but hey, I take half of Cam Newton over what PJ Walker. This is not going to go well.
Well, I think they're doing it out of spite. Yeah. I think they're doing it because he was the lad. Really, I mean, he did play for them, and they cut him. and they're gonna feel real kind of crazy trying to bring him back, saying, "Hey, we need you now."
They need
So
him
it's
now.
like it's gonna look. They do, but it's gonna look like he won. And
Or call Phillip Rivers. Call somebody.
yeah,
don't
but
play
I
the
agree.
next 4 weeks with PJ Walker.
Well,
So,
they're doing it, so
yeah,
you know it. But we're gonna jump into some running backs.
let's do it. Who you got?
Jonathan Taylor, 19 carries, 172, 2 touchdowns. Nick Chubb,
Yep.
return of Nick Chubb, 14 carries, 137, which is crazy, by the way.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns.
And now COVID, so you won't have him next week.
Nope. And the reason I put Lamar Jackson in quarterback because I put him at running back. 21 carries, 120 yards. No touchdowns, but definitely he played well. Davonte Williams had the breakout game that I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
But still, you know what I don't understand about this? Davonte Williams would get them down the field, all the way down to the goal line.
And then
And then
Melvin
they get the
Gordon
ball.
comes in.
And Melvin Gordon come in and they give him the ball. I
Yeah.
don't understand it. I think that's crazy. But he had 17 carries, 111. Dalvin Cook, we're going to talk about him a little bit later too.
Yeah.
17 carries, 110. 0 touchdowns. James Conner, 21 carries, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a really good game, by the way.
77 receiving yards. He
did.
blew it up. Once Chase Edmonds was out, it was the James Conner show, which is insane. James Conner, I think, is a big surprise. We did not have him doing this well this year, so good for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's throw in, since we're talking running backs, Nyheim Hines. Jonathan Taylor wasn't the only guy in Indianapolis getting them. We mentioned a lot of Colts tonight. I just wanted that to be on the record. 74 yards, 34 receiving yards, and a touchdown. And then some. This guy you probably have on your list for wide receiver, but since he's a running back in ESPN, I'm going to say Cordero Patterson, who
he was on my list.
His running yards are completely negligent, insignificant, but he had 126 receiving yards. So that gives me a chance to talk about Mike Davis as a horrible, horrible running back. He hit us food last year, filling in for CMC. But how is he the primary running back on the team and only had 13 yards?
Well, he's not the primary. I just read that he's not the primary running back anymore. He's more of the relief running back, which is that is
Cordero Patterson was a receiver, so by default, Mike Davis is he's not obviously, but like in that situation, this should be Mike Davis' time, and he is complete. We talked about it last week or the week before. He is completely droppable at this point.
He is. Yeah. He's droppable, and the crazy part is this.
Yeah,
they're paying him a lot of money to be the starting running back, and they won't use him. That's what I don't understand. I mean, they signed him to a pretty big deal, and now all of a sudden you don't want to run him the ball. Like, I mean, Cordero Patterson is balling. Don't get me wrong, no disrespect, but you can use both of them and still get something done.
Especially now with Calvin Ridley out. Cordero Patterson, full-time wide receiver, which is what he does for the team anyway. You should be running the ball with Mike Davis. They're not. Who cares? I'm done with Mike Davis. So let's hit some questions before we go wide receiver. Justin agrees that Cam on the Panthers would be epic. I don't know why that didn't happen. But he asked the question: should he start? Does he start Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Javonte Williams, Julio Jones, Darrell Williams, Allen Robinson? That's a definite no. He needs to start one of those. Who do you got?
First I'm going Waddle. Gotta go him. Like him. And for me, it's a toss-up between Devontae Smith
who had a nice game last week.
Javonte Williams. Julio is really not producing like I thought he would be in Tennessee. Nah. So really I'm going Waddle. Like, he only needs to start one. I'm going Waddle. Yeah. That's more of a reliable player for me.
For me, Allen Robinson is automatically off the list. He is, along with Mike Davis, is also pretty much droppable unless you're just holding on for some sentimental reason. I'm with you on Julio. I don't think he's performed at a level that if you're gonna start one of these guys, he ain't it. Darrell Williams, his time is over. So for me, it's gonna be Devontae Smith or Waddle. I don't want to do Javonte either because of that timeshare you mentioned. Like you said, his touchdowns get taken away by Melvin Gordon. So between Waddle and Smith, I'm going to go Waddle as well, especially playing against that Ravens team. The Ravens have been very susceptible to the pass. And,
yes, they have.
Yeah, give me Waddle all day.
Yes.
Tua was supposed to be coming back, I think.
No, they say he's not starting.
He's not starting this week either. Okay, well, either way, Brissett or Tua, I'm starting.
Brissett, Brissett starting this week.
Let's see the other question. Also, what's the status on Stafford? He needs to pick up a quarterback as a backup. If
Stafford is tough. Yeah. Stafford normally will play through pain a lot.
Yeah.
So I think he plays, but you still got a couple of days. You still got tomorrow. You still got Friday, and then because it's a Monday night game, you got Saturday. So I would have at least, if I was Justin, find out who the backup is first of all, and just throw him on your bench. Or if you want to get a quarterback, try to get one of those quarterbacks that's like a Sunday night quarterback. That way you'll have a little bit of wiggle room come Monday, where you can kind of decide before the Sunday night game.
Yeah,
if he's going, because they'll let you know about Saturday.
The bad part, well, not necessarily though, because with that game being on Monday, you might not know, and that's the part for me that makes that a tough situation, because you might not find out in enough time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would just stay very much in tune on that and have your backup plan ready. Let's see. Justin said, I guess it doesn't feel so good, does it, Justin? When I talked about the Colts beating his Jets. I didn't even think about it at the time, but good for me. Nita says also the Panthers and Texans are getting what they deserve. She likes Tyrod Taylor, though. I don't know why. Personally, I think that owner is purposely sabotaging the team. I think the Texans are just really, really bad, and they're just awful. Yeah. So, just awful. Welcome Keith to the show. He says, what do you think about Robbie Anderson? Will he get some? Hey, did you see he had a little bit of fallout on the side with Sam Darnold? But PJ Walker ain't gonna be yelling at PJ Walker next, because nah.
It ain't gonna make a difference.
Nah, not even a little bit. Nah. Honestly, as bad as Sam Darnold is, PJ Walker has been worse when he's come in relief for Sam Darnold. So no, I'm not feeling that at all. But stick around, Keith, because I definitely want your opinion, and on what, because Week 9 craziness, and your team is the shining example of how crazy that was. Nita says don't count on Cam going back to the Panthers. The new owner wanted him out. I'm not either. Antonio Brown's dead to me. You doggone right. Can A-Rob and OBG also be dead to you? A-Rob isn't dead to me because he ain't done me wrong, but he's fantasy irrelevant to me. And OBJ, it's going to be interesting. We're going to talk a little bit about that later to see where he ends up. But I've been long not a fan of OBJ. So he can be dead to me because we'll see where he goes. We'll see where he goes. Rod is his favorite is Jimmy G. You gonna play Jimmy G for Monday night?
No, I wouldn't do it. I think that's the worst matchup you can do. I think honestly, Jimmy is gonna get killed. And he got sacked 5 times last week. Yeah. He's gonna get sacked 5 times more because
the Rams are coming for blood because they got embarrassed by the Titans. Yeah.
I'm telling you, and they're gonna get Von Miller back this week. Yeah. Nope, I would not play him. If you're in a situation I got Stafford too.
Yeah.
So I gotta make a decision. But if you're in a situation, I think Stafford's gonna play. But like I said, if you can pick up somebody that played a late game, like 4:30, 8:20, something you try, you can.
Yeah.
just at the end of the day, try to have somebody as a backup plan. But I would not play Jimmy because Jimmy can't move, bro. And he gonna get destroyed. He gonna get destroyed.
All right, well, Jimmy G is his backup plan. So good luck to you on that one. Mm-hmm. And welcome Alexis to the show. That's my cousin. Good to have you here. Let us know your fantasy football picks. Yo, wide receivers before we get to the other NFL news. What you got?
Cordell Patterson, already you told him 6 for 126. Marquis Brown has been coming on this year. I was doubtful about Marquis Brown this year. Mm-hmm. He's been balling out. 9 receptions, 116. Devontae Smith, 5 receptions, 116 and a touchdown. Keenan Allen, he got 12 receptions, 104 yards. Robert Woods, 7 for 98. Cooper Kupp, 11 for 95. And you know the duo in the Rams, they do their work.
Yo, did you hear? Speaking of apparently Cooper Kupp's father's in the fantasy football league, and so as a courtesy, they've let him have Cooper Kupp every year. They're changing that. They're like, next year, nah. Cooper Kupp is up for grabs. So I'm like, I can't believe y'all waited this long. This has been by far his best year, but Cooper Kupp would have never been a courtesy. No. Like, nah.
We gonna let you get your son? Nah, we good.
Nope.
Nope.
Not happening. No. But it won't happen for him anymore. I thought that was hilarious.
And then I got a couple tight ends.
Wide receiver.
Tight ends. I got to get my boy in there.
I'm going to let you get to. Can I say something about wide receivers? It's give and take.
Talk about your Raiders, man. I don't want to hear about your Raiders, man.
What in the world am I going to. What wide receiver am I going to talk about from the Raiders this past week?
I'm sorry. That's kind of funny.
Get out of here. I'm not talking about the Raiders. Anyway.
No, I got you. Go ahead.
Did you mention Elijah Moore? It didn't sound like you said Elijah Moore.
Nah, you getting Elijah Moore. You got it.
You're hating on Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore has been balling out the last 3 weeks. So this one's for you, Justin. See who remembers your Jets players. 8 targets, 7 receptions, 84 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I think the party might stop next week. They've kind of had a schedule that leaned towards it. But Elijah Moore, if you have him in a dynasty league or you're just a Jets fan, I think y'all might have something with Elijah Moore. So he is definitely worthy of some praise.
He's really good. He got his hand. He catches the ball really well.
Yeah.
So especially across the middle. That dude, he was really good.
And the fact that he's doing it with Josh Johnson and Mike White, and it's like, okay, this dude's gonna be something to deal with. Let's talk about some bad wide receiverness. Somebody we love, Jamar Chase. Despite having 13 targets, that game was terrible. He had a problem with drops. He had a problem with a fumble. The stuff that we saw from Jamar Chase in the preseason was gone until this past week. I don't think it's a long-term problem. You're not worried, I don't think, if you had Jamar Chase. But that game probably was like, oh no, I thought he was over with that stuff. And then I'll go with another guy that you probably had better expectations from, CeeDee Lamb. Talking about crazy games. He had 9 targets, only 2 catches, and a total of 23 yards. So
how about the whole Cowboys?
The whole
team?
Cowboys, exactly. The star wide receiver for the Cowboys was Malik Turner with 2 touchdowns, all in garbage time. But once again, great things that don't help fantasy football players at all, because Malik Turner's father might be the only person that had him on his fantasy football team as a courtesy. But but he probably had him benched too. So before we go to the tight ends, yes, Justin, Hunter Renfrow is very good, but y'all don't need me to talk about Hunter Renfrow. I talk about Hunter Renfrow on a weekly basis. Y'all know what's up with him. He's the greatest.
I don't know why.
Yeah. He says he loves Moore and Carter, and Crowder is solid. So Justin knows everything about the Jets. The Jets are a terrible football team, but they have some players that look like they might be interesting, because I think at the beginning, I think I told everybody I wouldn't draft a single Jets player for fantasy football. I'm gonna eat those words. They've got some potential there.
I didn't say that. I told
you didn't. I did.
Was gonna be good.
I said I'm staying away from the Jets completely. Mike White over Carr. See now, Justin, you
Nah, I don't know about that, Justin.
Justin, put the crack pipe down and just say no to drugs, Justin. He said he had Turner starting. Hold up, you had Turner starting in your flex. Definitely stay off the drugs. Don't ever do that again, Justin. All right. What do you want to say about tight ends? Because I know you're dying to tell us about George Kittle.
I wasn't even going to start with George Kittle.
What tight end are you going to talk about? Oh, you're going to start with a different tight end.
Kelsey had a good game.
Yeah, Kelsey always has a good game.
5 receptions, lately. 68 yards and a touchdown.
Good.
Your boy Darren Waller had a good game.
Darren Waller was nice.
Can't discount that. I mean, why you got to do all that for? And then we can talk about George Kittle. What?
Oh, so he saved him to last.
Yeah.
You better believe it. I'm saying him for last.
I'm so mad. I had George Kittle benched.
Had him on the bench.
Because I was I want to see him come back and play a full game first. It wouldn't have mattered because I got beat in that league terribly anyway. But, yeah, George Kittle will be back in the starting lineup. Yeah.
All I'm saying is my boy was back to normal. 6 receptions, 101 and a touchdown. All I'm saying is the best tight end in the game is back in the building. Let's
here we go with that mess again.
All right, Justin says he was just kidding about having Turner in his flex spot. Good. Now the best tight end, for some reason, I think one of us recommended you need to get Pat Frymouth in your lineup if you needed some help at tight end. Hey, for only 43 yards, but he has been a key guy, a touchdown machine. He's the new Dalton Schultz, basically, taking over that role for tight ends. And I think what really helps Frymouth out is Ben Roethlisberger is terrible, and he can't throw the ball down the field, so tight end, that's his go-to spot. He is really bad. So Keith said to your boy Ayuk looks like he finally might step. Hey, the coach puts him in a game and look what happens.
Well, you know what happened?
What?
They had on a bye week. They had a conversation, a one-on-one conversation. John Lynch was in the room. They had a hash out moment, and they was like, he said, "Look, man, this is what I don't like." Shanahan was like, "Say this is on like." They came to an agreement. They hashed it out, and everything back to normal.
The agreement was put Brian Ayuk in the game where you're fired, because there's no way you're gonna waste that kind of talent because he can't block. I'm like, I don't care if Brian Ayuk can block.
Nobody cares about that. He's back though. He had a good game, so that's good.
So good for him. Yes, thank you, Nita, for telling everybody. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Love to have you as part of the show. He said Pitt is a top 3 to 4 tight end all rest of the season. Justin said it, so it is so. I don't see why he wouldn't be, except for the fact that Matt Ryan did his thing this week, so hopefully he keeps it going. And as long as Calvin Ridley is out, Kyle Pitts is the number one guy in that offense. So I think we'll see. Alexis asks us what we're thinking about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is definitely coming up when we get to our NFL news. Angelo says, hey, not being able to defend Ben. Yeah, there's no defense. He's awful.
He need to hang it up.
But hey, he had some great days. So,
Oh, yeah.
I have been Roethlisberger actually in one of my Superflex leagues, and I actually did play him. He did well enough this week, so we have that. We'll talk about that Steelers game too, Angelo, because I know you were there, and yeah, we'll talk about that. What you got? Is that all the impact players?
Yeah, I want to hit some waiver wires this week. Actually, Brandon Ayuk is a waiver wire pickup this week. Elijah Moore is another one that's still available. This is surprising for me, and I know you might disagree with me on this one, but Jordan Howard is somebody you should think about picking up this week because they say they're going to get him involved in the offense even when the starter comes back.
Even when Sanders gets back. I am on record last week for the 42nd play call says I would play Boston Scott. I'm not even touching Jordan Howard. I stand very corrected because apparently the guy they pulled up off the practice squad is more valuable to the offense than all the starters that they've had because Miles Sanders has to be like, really? We couldn't run the ball when I was healthy. Gainwell is like, I thought I was important. He's become irrelevant. And even Boston Scott taking a backseat. Jordan Howard, of all people. Jordan Howard is terrible. The fact that going forward, they say he gonna get the line share. He gonna get carried. I mean, you have to pick him up at this point because
got to. I mean,
Okay. Jordan Howard.
then
Jordan
I
Howard
got
it is. The Eagles are a mess. Let me just say
Rashad
that.
Bateman is
Rashard
another
Bateman's
one
a great pickup.
And Donovan Peoples-Jones
Also,
is somebody that's available in a lot of leagues
the
that you
fact
should
that
go
he is
pick up.
only rostered in like 25 or so percent of leagues is a sin against football. This guy should be on your roster if he's available in your league. Because he's the number one wide receiver.
Basically.
Yeah.
I picked it up in 2 leagues. As soon as they said Odell was gone, I went and scooped him up immediately because I knew he was going to get off because they got a better substitute.
Yeah. And speaking of Cleveland, Darius Johnson is a good pickup if he's still available. He's rostered in like 60-something% of leagues, but with Nick Chubb out for COVID, you gotta have Darius Johnson in if he's available. I guess you pick up PJ Walker if you are really, really desperate at quarterback. But I honestly did in one of my leagues, as you know, because I have Sam Darnold, and that is one of our 2 quarterback leagues where there are no quarterbacks. So I had to pick up PJ Walker, and I hate myself for doing it. Here's something interesting. What do you do if you are in need of running back help? Because there's a chance that you might not see Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson. Both of them went out with concussions last week. Hopefully they come back to play, but if they're not, are you picking up Brandon Bolden?
Yes, I am. Yeah. I am. I actually thought about picking him up this week, but I just don't know the situation right now in New England. So what I think, because he catches out the backfield pretty well, and he's the only running back they got really left that Bill Belichick trusted. So I would pick him up personally if you need a 1 week gap for a running back. But like you thinking 2 weeks, but this week definitely if you need a fill in.
I don't want him unless I hear those 2 guys, or if just one of them is out, then I pick them up because they're gonna split that backfield even if it's just one of them. So yeah, if they don't play them. Here's another one for you. Because Chase Edmonds is out, do you pick up Eno Benjamin for the Cardinals?
No, because he's not going to get any carries like that.
I don't think you can pick him up to play, but just on the fact of James Conner, if he has to pull the full load, I don't know. But that's really at the most desperate of desperates.
I mean, that's if you need him, but you don't pick him up unless you actually going to play him or have a thought of playing him, because you can't sit him on the bench because we don't know if James Conner going to get hurt. And if he continue to play the way he's playing, he's probably going to come in for spells to, give him a breather, but that's about it. I don't think it's going to be more than that. Yeah. So, no.
I don't think so. Let's go back to these questions for a second. Justin wants to know if he's going to get a win on this play here. He's got Stafford, assuming he plays, Aaron Jones, James Robinson, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Kyle Pitts, Julio Jones, the Denver defense, Michael Bagley, because we care about your kickers. And then he's playing against Josh Allen, who should definitely have some motivation to play better. Dalvin Cook, who we definitely have to talk about. J.D. McKissick, DK, Debo, Dan Arnold, Godwin, the Pittsburgh defense, and Justin Tucker. He's got there's some question marks on both sides. Going back to Dalvin Cook, he said he is playing this week, so
yeah, he's playing.
You don't have to worry about that.
I wouldn't have thought he won't play, and I think the situation like a year old. Yeah, we'll get into that later, but yeah. Stafford, Aaron Jones, J-Rob, Hill, Water, Pitch.
J-Rob is supposed to be back and playing. He said he and Trevor Lawrence look good.
That's a tough one. That's a toss-up for me. Now, the only thing Goodwin might not play, the guy he's playing, they're saying Goodwin is a real game time decision. Yeah. This early for them to say that must mean that he's kind of hurt for real. It's going to be a tight one. He kind of needs Stafford to play.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Stafford plays, and that's another person, he and Josh Allen should be motivated to play coming off losses last week.
Yeah.
I like Justice teams a little better because there's some there's some question marks. I'm still not because, for instance, let's say J.D. McKissick. I like McKissick, but we've got to see with that situation because he's not the feature back on that team.
Yeah.
But he can be at times, and he has been this season. But hey,
I mean, it's gonna be tight. I think he can pull it off. He just need a couple players to hit a little bit, like J-Rob. Water need to hit. Pitts.
Tyreek Hill needs to have a better game.
Yeah. I mean, he can win,
but he has better players. I think is my opinion. So
if all his players come to play like they supposed to, I think he can win. Because J.D. McKissick, Goodwin might not play, so he got kind of upper hand. DK gonna do work, probably Debo, but other than that, I really don't see much there. He should win as long as his players come to play.
Let's see. What else did I miss in our questions? I think. Oh well, Justin says that blocking is the key part. Yeah, you see the change, but but your talent as a wide receiver
should overtake
because they've got enough guys that can block for the 49ers. You need playmakers.
Exactly.
10 look like 6 is good. League Justin is debating between Rashad Bateman and Devontae Smith. Who do you go with for that? I go Smith.
I do Smith, and I'm gonna do Smith for another reason. I don't really particularly like playing guys on Thursday night. I have this thing about Thursday nights.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really play well on Thursday nights for some reason. If you had to play Bateman, then yes. But if you had a choice like he has now, I would wait till that Sunday. That way you get a little bit more leverage going into Sunday. Because if you play somebody on Thursday night and they don't do well, you're behind the 8 ball going into the week. So both of them should be. I mean, I'm going Smith.
I'm going Smith for the fact that he is a higher priority in that offense.
Yeah.
Bateman, I love, and I've been talking about Bateman ever since he came off IR. But he is behind Mark Andrews. He's behind Marquis Brown. He's behind the run game that powers that team. So I like Bateman, but Bateman is not going to be a consistently good player like not that Devontae Smith has been lights out the whole year, but he is the feature wide receiver on that team. And so I think you have a better shot with him. Who do you like more, the Titans or the Rams defense this week? Now, don't let your 49ers-ness get in the way of your answer.
What kind of question is that? I'm going to say the Rams. I like the Rams. I think Jimmy he's gonna be a turnover machine this week. I think Von Miller coming back. You got Darnold. You got Ramsey. I think that Ramsey-Debo matchup gonna be good.
I
think the Rams, honestly, to be honest with you,
I go with.
And plus,
if
I was him, I would play the Rams because they play Monday night. Last game of the last two defenses of the night. What a week. That would give him more of an advantage, personally.
Yeah, I like the Rams' defense better because I just think they have better players on their defense. The matchup with the Saints that the Titans have it's kind of tempting, but not tempting enough for me. I go with who I expect to be better. So
I'm going Rams.
And Justin is also going with Eno Connor because Connor. Well, our theory at the beginning of the season was Connor was going to get hurt. Apparently, it's not him. It's Chase Edmonds who got hurt.
Chase Edmonds, yeah.
But come on, he's still James Conner. So I don't think, even if he's not hurt, I don't think they want to put that full workload on him because he has that injury history. So I think Eno Smith is a nice fill-in, but don't sacrifice a really good player for him. Would be my advice.
Eno Smith is going to get carries. He's just going to get carries where he come in to spell Connor every now and then.
So, like I said, it's more of a desperation play than anything else. And apparently, Justin's calling an upset. He says if you want to upset Browns, let's see if Chubb plays also Minnesota. Browns. I don't know if I call that an upset for real.
Nah.
I mean,
I don't think so.
I'm trying to think because we have a 40-second play clock. Watch on Saturdays. We go over every single game. I think I'm gonna actually go with the Patriots on that, but don't quote me on it yet because that game's gonna be tough. The Browns surprised me this week with the way they played against Minnesota. So yeah.
I mean, I just think Bill Belichick just game plans well for Baker Mayfield. So I don't know. You check us out on Saturday. You'll see what
we'll see. We'll find out. Yeah. All right. NFL news, because I know there's some stories that are. Do we want to start with Aaron Rodgers? Because there was a question about him.
Yeah, let's start.
Let's start with Aaron.
The news is on. The Packers got fined $300,000 for Aaron Rodgers. Obviously COVID-19 situation, and Aaron Rodgers and Alan Lazard got fined $14,650.
Bull crap! I call. I'm gonna let you finish the story, but I'm calling bull crap already because last year the Raiders Raiders had a fundraiser. They were trying to raise money to help people in need, and they got charged $15,000. Aaron Rodgers went the whole flipping season lying about being vaccinated, and they just charged him. They just fined him for this one Halloween party they went to. That's crap. But okay. Finish telling everybody about the story.
So
crap. Go ahead.
They got fined for that, but I'm gonna say this.
Yeah,
I agree with you, but I agree with you in this way. I think Aaron Rodgers should have got suspended because Aaron Rodgers has been lying from day one about being vaccinated.
I'm gonna disagree with you on the suspension because he's on my he's my fantasy football quarterback. I just want to. I just want him fined a whole lot.
I'm gonna say this. Yeah, he should have been suspended for at least 2 games because he lied from day one about being vaccinated. He didn't have a mask on at not one press conference. He's been walking around the building without a mask on. He has not got tested every week. He has lied about it.
But what about my fantasy football team? Come on.
I have nothing to do with that right now. This is called our fantasy football. We're talking about a topic. My thing is he's getting special treatment.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's getting fined $15,000 for going to a Halloween party, but you telling me you can't suspend him? And they say a lot of team owners are upset about that.
Irate, and they should be. Because you set these rules up. I actually went through and read the COVID protocols and all the rules, and they have a whole set of bullet points on things that will get you a fine. And the fact that they only fined them once, and it says right there that for multiple offenses, you're subject to higher discipline. Yep. And the fact that they only fined them that 15, it's crap. But I don't want to suspend it because I need his help. I need to make the playoffs.
Be suspended for 2 games. He need to at least. Yeah. They need to show. They need to kind of put the foot down on him to let him know that he can't just run around and do anything he wants to do. Because basically, by letting him get away with this, they're saying it's okay. It's okay, Aaron, if you come out. And on top of that, he's supposed to be quarantining, and he went and got coffee when he was not supposed to leave the house. Yeah. So therefore, he's still not listening to them. He's still not following the rules.
If you go through those bullet points, they could have gotten him on several of those bullet points. I see Angel's comment that CeeDee Lamb was charged $20,000, and it's crap. Like I said, the Raiders, they were at a fundraiser, and they got Darren Waller got charged $30,000 fine for that event last year. $30,000 for one event, and Aaron Rodgers has gone the whole season. It should be $15,000 times the 9 weeks of him lying about it at the least. But no suspension because, again, I need him for my fantasy football team because it's his fantasy football talk. No suspensions necessary.
He needs to be suspended.
After the season or next year. He might not be on my
No. So what they said now, they said the president is that it's okay.
You can't.
Excuse my French, but I'm gonna be real with you. It's okay for the prominent white superstar quarterback to go out here and do this. But I'm telling you, if it was somebody like if Cam was,
I was about to say Cam Newton, who couldn't get on a team because he had a team approved trip to go do some alternate COVID, and he got cut, and nobody wants to touch him anymore. But Aaron Rodgers gets away with this crap for 9 weeks. So no, I mean he need to be sitting on the bench somewhere. He need to be home. He needs to be fined significantly and still scoring touchdowns for my fantasy football team.
That's the problem. That's the problem we having right there.
Yep.
You trying to get this man a pass because he's on your fantasy football team.
I'm trying to hit him in the pockets. It does no one any good for me to lose fantasy football games when all we really need to do is charge him like $100,000 for his sins. And he already losing his State Farm commercials because you haven't even seen those this weekend.
What is $100,000 to Aaron Rodgers? You make him suffer by not letting him play. That's what you do. Yeah. You say, you know what, we gonna make you sit home for 2 to 3 weeks and let you think about what you did. Instead, you know what, Aaron, we just gonna find you $100,000. It's cool. We know when you do that State Farm commercial, you gonna get it back anyway. Okay. Really? No.
All right.
He needs to be suspended.
Well, here's the real truth. Derek Carr is my backup on that team, so I can go 2 weeks. I can go 2 weeks with him suspended, but not more than that. You get all that
spill for Derek Carr to be your backup. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I'll be all right. But yeah, honestly, I was expecting him to be suspended. So when they announced before they gave the fine that he would not be facing a suspension, I was like, that's crap to begin with, except for my fantasy football bias. But the fact that he was only charged $15,000, Roger Goodell is a joke. The whole privilege thing is a joke. It is. It says also the Justice pointed out also the Packers lost draft capital and it's actually $300,000, which was a bigger fine than the Raiders got. I can't remember the exact number, so I think the Raiders were fined like half that or something like 100.
Yeah,
I forget the exact number.
Yeah, it's like 150,000.
Yeah,
I think.
But the Packers I think faced a bigger penalty than Aaron Rodgers got. That's just dumb. It's just really stupid. And Cam is a low-end starter in the NFL, and he didn't really work with the Bill. Yeah, the Cam is not great. I'm on the record. One of us thought Cam was going to have a blowout. I'm not going to say who. But I don't think Cam is great. He's much like Ben Roethlisberger, past his prime. But Cam's situation is the part. It's the COVID situation. Is why Cam Newton basically didn't have a shot at stuff. And Aaron Rodgers just gets this pass. That's just silly.
See, but the thing is, Cam has came out recently and said that he would get vaccinated to get back on a team.
Yeah.
So for them to even still not sign him, you telling me Josh Johnson is better than Cam Newton right now? No way. PJ Walker is better than Cam Newton right now?
Tyrod Taylor's not better.
Tyrod Taylor? No way.
Yeah.
I can't even.
There's a bunch of bad guys. The Jets themselves went through like 3 of them this year that are worse than Cam Newton. So Aaron Rodgers, you suck, and Roger Goodell, you suck for not charging him more. So, any more on that story, or you want to go to the next one?
I'm tired of talking about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has enough of our time for the last 2 weeks. I'm gonna go to this one, and I read this story. I read the article on it, the Dalvin Cook situation.
Yeah.
They say he was a victim of abuse, and the chick was trying to extort him for money.
Yeah.
This happened in 2020. So they say that she was in the military and she broke in his house, and she maced him, and like she hit him in the head with a pot, and she hit the other 2 people that was in the house, and he was defending himself. Now she's trying to say that he actually hit her because they were dating. I don't know what to believe, but I just think a lot of this is crazy. I think a lot of this is probably, I don't want to go out there and say she's making this up, but if you break into this man's house and you mace him and you hit him with a pot, I think this is kind of crazy. It's in court, but they saying that it could have been thrown out a couple of weeks ago. He decided not to because she was trying to extort him for, I think it was $100,000. Yeah. I could be wrong, but I think it was $100,000. But I just think at the end of the day, I don't know what to make of the situation fantasy-wise, and I don't know what to make of the situation real-life-wise, because I don't see him getting suspended because I don't think he did anything wrong. He was defending himself. And fantasy-wise, I don't see why he wouldn't play.
I see a lot of people have been picking up Alexander Madison this
which
week.
I think is crazy. I don't think that's necessary.
I think you pick him up as a backup plan because I'm not I said before, I'm not a huge fan of handcuffing guys, But
Yeah.
better safe than sorry if this case. But I'm with you. I don't really think we'll see how the story develops, but I'm not expecting much from it. Justin's trying to defend this guy Mike White, and so it's cool. It's cool. I was halfway joking about that, but halfway joking. But come on, Mike White for real. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hit this other news story. This is gonna sound a lot like last week when we talked about the Raiders. This has been a disaster of a year, and apparently 2020 was a disaster of a draft because they released yet another first round pick, letting go of Damon Arnett because he on social media. Apparently some people were near his house or something like that, and so he posted some crazy video where he's pulling up all these guns threatening to kill people, and so he's no longer playing for the Raiders, which just goes along with the Henry Ruggs story and the John Gruden story. The Raiders, their whole 2020 draft, because they lost Ruggs, they lost Arnett now. They gave away Lynn Bowden like before the season started last year. Brian Edwards has been so yeah, Raiders, not good times. But we have Deshaun Jackson now, so
that's a bright spot, I guess. But
yeah. We're having a good time over here in Raider Nation. So
I want to say both our teams are in a really bad, just in bad situations. Period. This year, injuries. Y'all more like y'all situation are a lot more crazy.
I wouldn't put them on equal footing, but
no, y'all a little bit more crazy. We have injuries and coaches' decisions and all that stuff. Y'all have people, they just don't know how to act off the field. But my question for you, and the floor is yours, by the way, with the situation. What needs to change for all this to stop?
Well, they're going to be drafting guys with high character, and the coaching situation is obviously going to change. But it just, we talked about professionalism last week. Ruggs obviously not being a professional off the field. Arnett obviously not being a professional off the field. The other situations are more football related, so you can, I guess, take Arnett. But they've got to do a better job as into looking into who these guys are and maybe help them a little bit with. Because they have good examples. These guys have got there's some quality guys on the team. One I talk about all the time, Hunter Renfrow, who's been nothing but professional. Darren Waller, if you ever need someone to look to as far as turning your life around, Darren Waller is that guy. Along with Max Crosby, of course, the quarterback Derek Carr. They've got good quality people, but they've made some bad choices, and so yeah, hopefully they can fix it in upcoming drafts and stay with the more character guys and not let talent blind them from some really bad players they picked up.
So I want to talk about this. What's your take on? I want your real take on the Odell situation and how he forced his way out and what he used to get his way out. Because I have a take on this, but I'm gonna let you go first, and then I'll say my piece. But I think it was set up, but I'll let you go first.
Well, not only is it set up with his bad behavior, but he's already the reports that he's ready to cause more issues if he doesn't get on the team, because he only wants to play for like a Super Bowl contending winning team. So his favorites now are the Saints, the Chiefs, and I pray they don't do.
Chiefs. He doesn't need to go there.
I think he's looking at the Seahawks as a possibility. And the Packers were the other team on his, I guess, list of acceptable places to go. Yeah,
I don't understand.
It's insane for me. I guess let's go to a different player who was also a diva and a headache. Terrell Owens. But
Yeah.
you know what Terrell Owens always did? Produce. Odell has not had a Pro Bowl season in 6 years, 5 or 6 years, and so I truly don't understand why there's even a demand for Odell at this point in his career. He cleared waivers, so now he'll have somewhat of his choice on where he goes. But for me, OBJ isn't worth the hassle unless for me the only team that semi makes sense for me would be the Saints because they lost Michael Thomas. There's no need for him for the Packers, despite the fact that they've been making it work with the wide receivers they have for years, despite not having they have Davonte Adams. That's all the wide receiver you need, right?
Yes.
And the Chiefs, they've got playmakers everywhere. They already have a reclamation product with Josh Gordon. So,
yeah.
Apparently, though, Russell Wilson wants him with the Seahawks. I don't know why. But
Me either.
What do you think?
This is my take. It's two things that stand out for me. The video that his dad put out.
Yeah.
I don't think that was just, I'm going to put this video out type thing. I think that was kind of planned. I think that was.
Yeah. It's definitely planned.
That it was a package thing with it.
All the guys in the NFL wearing their free Odell shirts. Come on.
Like I think it was kind of that video was planned.
Yeah.
Because he broke down week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of that was planned already to say, hey, and then you get a tweet from LeBron James about free Odell. So I think all that aligned together and that put pressure on Cleveland to say, you know what, we need to do something about this situation. Because they said they didn't expect, like him wanting to be released, they said they didn't expect that. They said that came out of nowhere. So I think it was a plot for him to get out of Cleveland. And it worked, and he got his way. And the reason he cleared waivers because nobody's going to pay him $7.2 million for half a season when he's not even going to produce like that, which at the end of the day, he can walk after the season. Now, does the Chiefs need him? No, the Chiefs don't need him. Going to the Chiefs is pointless.
I see Justin saying that the Chiefs need a solid wide receiver too, and Odell can fit that role. 6 years ago, yeah.
No, I doubt that seriously. I don't think so. Why?
Yeah.
You don't need that. You got Kelsey there, you got Hill, you got Gordon. If it's wide receiver is not the problem.
The only thing the Chiefs need to be picking up are defensive players. That's it.
Can we get defense?
Defense is the prime issue right now. Secondary help is the prime issue. McCole Hartman can be your second receiver if you ever throw him the ball. You got to throw him the ball first. You can't just key on two players and expect these other guys just to act like. I mean, come on now. Hey. No, you can't. That's not. I'm telling you, wide receiver is not the problem. So what you gonna do with Gordon? You just picked him up.
Just picked him up.
What you doing with Gordon? You gonna just let him sit there on the practice squad, even though you picked him up and you want to? No, it don't make sense. A lot of that that's terrible. Being a GM, I wouldn't do it. I mean, it sounds good in theory, but no, the Chiefs is not. I mean, the Saints probably is the only good fit.
Yeah, to me, the Saints make sense. It's the only place where they actually need a wide receiver. And going to the Seahawks again, that makes absolutely no sense because with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, you're straight, right? So, other than the Saints, since he's only looking at winning teams,
definitely,
whatever. Be glad anybody wants you at this point in your career. The thing that kills me about OBJ is he keeps getting this credit for stuff he did in his first 3 or 4 years in the league.
Yeah.
Like, we have not seen that. And
no, you haven't.
Everyone still thinks he could, if he could get separation and make the kind of plays that people are expecting from him, he would have been doing it in Cleveland. And he couldn't because he's not that guy. And if I'm wrong, we'll find out. But no.
Well, Justin, I disagree with you when you say I'm wrong. Out of respect, I do disagree with you because the offense, you said it hasn't been the same. I'm gonna tell you what the offense. The offense can't run the ball. That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
The Chiefs have never had a running offense. Period. They have never ran the ball like that. And it's called, of course, people get the blueprint on how you play. But your offense still has to evolve with that. But if they had a running game, they would be okay. If they decided to throw to another receiver outside of Kelsey and Hill, they will be okay. They have to make that. But the defense is ranked, if I'm not mistaken, last.
Yeah, they're a terrible defense
in the league.
Yeah.
Against the pass, and they like almost last against the run. So the offense can't save the defense no more. The defense is shot.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it can't. It's not. Come on, man. No. I don't know about that, Justin.
Going back to the other story with the Raiders, I see a comment. Angelo was talking that you can't. What else can you do to prevent the ignorance of going live about shooting someone? I mean, that's just dumb. Like we said last week, so much of professionalism is completely non-football related stuff, and just making good decisions. So yeah, that's all I can say about it. They just really messed up. Anita says Keyshawn Jackson said exactly what she said about Mahomes. He's not getting any sleep at home. The baby's keeping him up. Maybe I don't know. I wonder if that's supposed to be Keyshawn Johnson, by the way. But yeah, the Chiefs, they have some problems they have to work out. I think people are on to a lot of the stuff they've done in the years past with the offense. So they've got to establish, like you said, a running game for one. Just to put in and think about the new guy from Andy Reid's conference. Yeah, new guy was completely irrelevant this week. So I guess since the coach couldn't remember his name, maybe they didn't run any plays for him. And then the others is much related to this Odell story. We're going to find out because the thing is, someone's going to pick him up. I don't know who or why, but they're going to do it.
I guess, man. I mean, that's just me, but we'll see. I mean, he gotta make a choice, and they say he's going to take his time, but when he get there, he got to play because basically he's a free agent after this year. In order to make his money next year, he has to provide some actual numbers that can say, hey, I think we can use Odell. If you don't do it, you're just going back to the same situation.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Other football questions going back. Who do you have? Is this Darius Johnson or Josh Jacobs?
I'm sorry, but I'm going to Darius Johnson.
Yeah, me too.
I think Cleveland, they don't trust Baker Mayfield that much, so they run the ball a whole lot. So Darius Johnson's probably the better choice because he's going to get carries, period, no matter what.
Hey, which one of them is the strong running team?
Cleveland.
There you go. No doubt there. Justin Pratt has a Super Bowl bet. He needs the Packers and Chiefs in it. Okay. Hey.
That's probably not going to happen, but okay, yeah.
We'll see. The two possibilities, but yeah.
I don't see that happen. The league would love it, though.
They would. Hey, State Farm would love it.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
They can do their thing. Let's hit another news story. Because it's relevant. You talked Dalvin Cook. Let's talk about Cassius Marsh and taunting. If you watch that Steelers game with the Bears, I honestly went to the game rooting for the Steelers. I like Mike Tomlin. He's from our Hampton Roads area. I kind of like the Steelers. The Raiders-Steelers rivalry thing has been great for football. Not so much recently, but historically. So I kind of have a thing. I like the Steelers. I try to root for them. But that game, I turned to the Bears with a quickness because Justin Fields was killing it. And I honestly think they were the better team on the field that whole game. You can't tell me that the Steelers played as well or looked as good as the Bears did most of the time. However, when it's the Steelers plus the referees, I think that kind of gave them I think there's a few calls that people are complaining about, but the one that gets me the most is that taunting call. What do you think about that?
I think it was terrible.
Yeah.
I think the rush was horrible last week, personally. That was a bad call. Like, that was a real bad. And if you watch it, because he tried to say he bumped into the referee, which he really didn't. He was trying to get around the referee, and they called it. And I'm like,
well, the call, the rest, it wasn't related to the bump. It was he was taunting the sideline of the Steelers.
He wasn't though.
His backstory. He used to play for the Steelers. They let it go. He got put on the practice squad for the Bears, and so he turned to the sideline and it said some stuff, but it wasn't taunting. It was football. He just made the play of his career, getting a sack.
Yeah,
and he did the little kung fu turnaround karate kick, and then he turned to them, but not in a taunting manner. It's in the football. People do this all the time. The thing that gets me about the taunting is it's so subjective. And what's taunting for one play is not taunting for another. This one, you changed the whole tenor of that game with that call, because the defense of the Bears had done a great job of stopping the Steelers, and they had a chance at winning that game. They still came back and took the lead later. But those points that the Steelers got, the 3 points they got for a field goal because of that taunting call, just ruined the game for me. And it's like that the referees gave the Steelers a win. And it was Mike Tomlin's first win against the Bears, so happy for him again. But that was crap. That was complete crap.
I mean, even in our game, I think the coach, Arizona's coach, he ran on half the field, and him and Josh Norman got into it. And I think Josh Norman got a taunting call for something because he was trying to. But the coach ran on the field halfway on the field, and they had to tell him to go back. Yeah. He should have been ejected from the game as the coach running on the field like that. I just think last week was bad for all around in football. It was a lot of bad calls, and I think lately the refs been kind of trying to determine the game themselves. Like they've been putting it in their hands to see who wants to win. And they should let the players determine who win the game, not the refs. And I really didn't care for that too much. It was some bad calls, though. I hope they clean that up, though, honestly.
Yeah, they have to. Just also agrees it was a bad call, the no fun league. And the pass interference and the taunting calls in the fourth, especially in the fourth. I mean, they said you should ref the same throughout the game. Yeah. True. But things like that changed the whole that changed potentially the outcome of the game. It was terrible. Of course, I knew Angelo had something to say on this one. He said they had a chance to stop him on D, and they did. I don't know what happened to that defense on that. Like they were playing. Well, there's two things. One, Matt Nagy is a horrible coach. By the way,
we all know that.
We said that before. He calls the timeout to ice the kicker. Right. Yeah. Voodoo, stupid stuff that people do. You know when that timeout would have been really useful? On that last drive when they're going down, instead of kicking like a 65, 66-yard field goal, they could have made another play in the middle of the field and maybe had a realistic kick to go for them. So, yeah, I won't say you can completely say it. So, going to Angelo's gave, the Bears still had a chance to win, but not only did they have to overcome the horrible call by the referees, they had to overcome the horrible coaching of Matt Nagy. And so, yeah, they couldn't get it done. So, yeah.
But the defense, I didn't like the way they played defense.
Yeah, that was when we started off from.
It's like they just allowed every pass to get caught. And I was like, what is going on?
The defense they've been playing the whole game. Now, all of a sudden, Ben Roethlisberger is looking like, a young Ben Roethlisberger moving the ball down. I was like, this is crazy. I don't know what happened.
I didn't understand that. I was like, man, what are they doing right here? I was like, but it wasn't supposed to be that close. Yeah, honestly. Justin Fields just played well.
The key is you don't play to a level where the refs can determine the outcome of the game. Yep. And that's where the Bears messed up, because they messed up on a whole bunch of opportunities where they could have had that game, because they I forget the exact numbers, but they were killing the Steelers as far as the number of yards, but they weren't converting those yards into touchdowns and points. Nope. So they can only blame themselves because they let the refs have the chance to determine the outcome of the game. they're gonna play better, and I think they will. Because hey, like we said earlier in the show, Justin Fields, he's starting to get it together. Justin asked the Bears last get hit the crossbar. That was like the greatest of all optical illusions, depending on the angle that you saw that kick. Because at first it looked like it hit the crossbar and bounced off, and I was like, oh, he almost made that. And then they showed it from another angle.
It fell flat.
So far from the crossbar. Yeah. But yeah, it almost looked good. Yeah, Anita says she didn't know that Mike Tomlin went to Women Mary. Sure did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. From the area. Definitely from the area.
Yeah, and also speaking of, I see the comment about the ref backing it up. Yeah, because in his post game interview,
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Cassius Marsh says did you see Cassius Marsh? I should have put it. He did his post game interview in like the biggest winter coat ever. It's Pittsburgh, so I get it, but he looked really cold, by the way. But he says that the referee was inappropriate because he hip checked him, and if you look at it, there's been people debating whether the ref actually tried to hip check him or not. I don't know, but it is. I'm good. Like, when I saw it live, I thought it was just individual contact, but then when you, I guess, slow it down, it can look like he maybe hit. I don't think the ref was trying to hip check him, but I don't know for certain. But yeah.
I think
it was a crazy call to a crazy game. But congratulations again to Mike Tomlin, finally getting that win. The Bears were the only team he hadn't beaten. So
really?
Yeah. Now he can say he beat everybody.
Hey, well.
Yeah.
Well, we got I did Donald. I was gonna say Donald was off for a few weeks. But we already talked about Donald being out a few weeks. But I do want to kind of elaborate on the story a little bit. Yeah. Is he done?
Sam Darnold? Yeah.
Is he done in Charlotte?
Is he done with the Panthers? That's a great question. It ain't looking good because he's put, except for those first games, he's put nothing out that suggests he was worth the cost it was to bring him in. Yeah. So I think he will be it until something better comes along. There you go. What do you think? Do you like Sam Darnold?
I think he's done.
I think he's done. Yeah, I think Adam Gase destroyed his life, and I don't know. I don't know whether it can come back. I see a question from Justin about the Manning curse. I don't know if you saw the intro to the show, Justin, but the intro of the show had Eli and Peyton Manning, and in between we had the Jaguars and the Bills, because that is, we talked about this week being like potentially the craziest week, and there was a whole lot of reasons why this week was crazy. But the fact that the Jaguars beat the Bills, and the fact that everyone who's gone on Monday night with every active player, I should say, that's gone on with the Manning brothers for Monday Night Football has had a absolute terrible week. Starting with Travis Kelce, who was the first guy up there, but right before they lost to the Ravens. It's been a disaster for no one can win if you go on that show. And we joked, we mocked the Manning brothers curse last week, and apparently the curse was not happy with us because Josh Allen failed such a when which you have called the Jaguars beating the Bills first off, and then only beating them with only scoring 9 points.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Really? I was watching the game. I was like, is it really 9-6? I was like, what is Josh Allen doing that they can't put up points?
Yeah.
Now I don't know if Josh, but he did come out and say that everybody played like crap, obviously, and he said it starts with me, and I have to get it right. So at least he took the blame for the loss and said, you know what, I'm gonna take it on the chin. It's my fault. So I get it. But
it was a lot of people's fault because it's the Jaguars. I don't understand how I think they had the highest scoring offense in the NFL.
Yeah, they did.
They lost to the worst team in the NFL.
But that's the same thing with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The Cowboys looked bad last week. The Rams looked bad last week.
The Raiders lost to the Giants. It was just
it's a lot of teams that look bad. It was a really bad week last week. It was. So
Need ask, is it not malpractice for Sam Darnold to have played that long with a hurt shoulder on the team? Team doctors are not to me. If my doctor had me doing certain activities, I think it would be whatever. But for some, there's different rules for athletes and what their bodies can endure. Because you can't tell me that some of these guys to come back from the ACL surgeries in less than a year. If you want to go back to like Adrian Peterson years ago, these aren't things that a doctor would normally prescribe for people. People playing with cracked ribs and all sorts of other insane things. What Tom Brady said, he played hurt and got kind of the Bucs in a little bit of hot water because they didn't report his injury. AJ Brown was hurt all last year. How many times have we talked about Antonio Gibson, who's been playing with a fractured shin this whole season? So, if you're talking about regular doctors, I'd agree with you. For football doctors, I think there's an acceptance that you're going to play a lot of hurt sometimes. Even go back to the example you gave last week with Willis Reed in the basketball game coming in. Hey, speaking of basketball, what do you think about the Joker and that push?
Dude, did you see that?
Yo.
It's Marquis Morris started it and the game was out of reach. And I think it was an unnecessary play. But for him to come back, it's like just throw his whole elbow in his back. I think that was unnecessary personally. I think he got suspended for one game. He should have got suspended for like 2 or 3 games personally. But the NBA is kind of soft on stuff like that.
I say this. It was unnecessary, but my man had it coming.
Yeah, he did.
You run it.
He shouldn't have turned his back.
Did you see Shaq's comment? It's like, yo, you hit me like that. Don't turn your back around because I'm coming for you.
He shouldn't have turned his back.
So he just rammed the guy and then turned around like nothing happened. So I feel bad for him because he looked like he got hurt pretty bad. But don't what is they don't mess with the bull if you don't want the horns. So hey,
I think at the end of the day it was. And then it got worse because it was on Instagram, on Twitter. His brothers going at it. It was just.
It might be a family fight going on. So,
I
got I'm going with the Joker family because.
they look crazy. They definitely look crazy.
I was like, they look like they might have killed some people before in real life. They don't want none. I don't think they want that one. Justin said he's going against Jokic in fantasy football. Going back to the Bills, he says that they came out sluggish and struggled against the Dolphins too, and they have no running game, so they have more losses. Oh, speaking of pickups, Zach Moss is hurt. Devin Singletary could be that if you want, but that running game just doesn't. Josh Allen. They're
using Beasley as the running back right now.
So it's a mess. But I don't blame anything other than the Manning brothers. That's why the Bills lost that one.
I don't. I think the Bills lost.
It's the curse, man.
They have to establish a running game, and that's been the problem with the Bills for the last 2 years.
Much like you said about the Chiefs. Yeah.
When you don't run the ball, they don't even run the ball 15 times. Like Singletary might get 6 or 7 carries. Moss might get like 5 carries. They don't run the ball enough to make a defense honest enough to say, you know what, we're gonna throw 8 in the box. So all they're doing is throw 8 in the box to make you throw the ball and put pressure on you, and that way you can't block. But at the end of the day, those 2 teams are similar because they like to throw. They don't run the ball too much.
Yeah.
And the defense didn't show up. The defense don't show up like that. So they have to. At the end of the day, they have to get a running game. So, I don't understand why CEH they don't give him 25 carries a game. I don't understand it. That's the weirdest thing I've seen in my life. He should get more carries. Singletary ain't the greatest running back.
Yeah. But we saw him good in his
rookie
year.
His first year. But you won't even give him 20 carries, 18 carries. But you're gonna run Josh Allen 10 carries and get your quarterback killed.
Yeah.
Which don't make no sense.
We'll see. But
yeah.
I still stand by with no running game at all. You should never lose to the Jaguars. It must be the curse. We'll find out. They have this week off, so we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. First off, if anybody's going to go back on this show again, I wouldn't. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I wouldn't go up there.
If I was up there, like I'm about to cancel my appearance because I'm not messing with that. We ain't doing that until somebody else wins. We got Justin Jenkins should be suspended for 3 games, and Morris 1. I'm all right with the 1-game suspension myself. It looked really bad, but he all right. You know what I'm saying?
But he don't. The thing is, he don't. I think he only got 1 game because they said he didn't have a history.
Yeah, and the dude instigated the whole thing. So for me, I'm okay with the 1 game. And Morris, I see needs coming. Yeah, Morris had that coming. So, don't push a dude like that and then walk away. If you push them like that, then stand your ground because you should expect some sort of retaliation. So it is.
Well, I mean, Jimmy Butler got fined what?
30, yeah, because they said
Jimmy was like, "Let's go take it back to the locker room. Let's go. We can take it down back there." I was like, "Okay."
They don't
Jimmy
want
bought that life though.
They don't want it.
Yeah, but Jimmy definitely bought that life. Yeah. So I get it. So
Jimmy used to play for the Bulls. I like Jimmy. But
I like Jimmy too. I'm a big Jimmy fan.
But he don't want it.
We should have kept
He don't want it.
I don't know. Jimmy can. I think Jimmy can go, man. I put my points on Jimmy, bro. I think Jimmy can go. Jimmy was like, let's get it.
Are weapons invited into this fight? Because that's the only way Jimmy's winning this
one. I guess not, man.
Put those guys side by side. You tell me where you're putting your money. No.
I'm going Jimmy, man. I'm putting my money on Jimmy, man. I think Jimmy going.
You can count that money lost. So
I guess, man. If you say so, man. Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway,
but it's all I got.
You got anything else?
No, that's all
right.
I got.
Well, thanks everybody who's joined us for the show. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for the likes, the subscribers. Let's stop the show because Justin is losing his mind right now. So. Yeah, Lakers over the Bulls. Come on,
hold on.
Melo's been balling. I would say that.
You got 2 Bulls fans up here.
Yeah,
we're not going for that. The Lakers are complete trash right now. Anyway, I mean Westbrook, y'all need to trade him ASAP because he just killing y'all. So no.
So we'll see. We'll see where the Lakers and the Bulls are at the end of the season. But yeah.
Is there going to be a lot of yelling between the 2 of us on the game on
Sunday? I missed that question.
That's
is there going to be yelling between the producer and I? Probably.
I don't know why. Both kind of suck, so we're going to yell at.
We're about to sign off, but let me tell you this one quick story. This is before we got married, right? We're both in grad students, and if you're from Hampton Roads area, you know this place called Roger Brown's. It's a sports bar in Portsmouth. P-Town, get down. You know how we do, right? So this is we and 2 other friends. We're at Roger Brown's because the Chiefs and the Raiders are playing. Actually, I got a second story too, by the way. I'm gonna make them quick. But Sydney and I are watching the Chiefs. We're yelling, screaming. People are looking at us like. Do they know who they're rooting for? Because this was way before Patrick Mahomes, people.
Yeah,
the Chiefs and the Raiders are awful back then. And so, but we're yelling like it's the doggone Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Chiefs did win that game, but I married Sydney anyway because
And I talk so much
because
trash.
she's a great producer. But we talk trash every time the Raiders and the Chiefs play. Another fan of the show, not you, Rodney, but a different Rodney. Also, we were at Rogers Browns, but this time it was not as good because they wouldn't even we tried to get them to put the Raiders and the Chiefs on the TV screen because they had the big screens, then the side ones. No. They sent us all the way to the back of the restaurant by the pool tables, right? And so we're on this little 13-inch TV up in the corner by the pool station trying to watch the Raiders and Chiefs. People playing pool around us. We having to move out the way. The Raiders, again, long time ago when the Raiders and the Chiefs both sucked. So we'll see what happens this week. So Raiders, Chiefs, it's going to be a fun week. That's why we're giving this game to Rodney. for the 42nd play clock. He's going to be
so that's why
he's going to be the
why you
neutral
gave it
party
to me.
between us and call that game. So we'll see how he does.
Oh, I get it now. So that's why you gave me the game.
That's why you get that game.
I thought you ain't want it just because you ain't want it because y'all was bad situation
Hey,
going
I
on.
love my Raiders no matter what the situation is, but I'm not picking them to win this one. I don't think. No.
Okay, I got you. Hey, look, I understand. I don't want no problems here. I take it off your hands.
So you got this one. So you get to shine this Saturday, 42nd play clock. Do your thing. Do your thing.
According to Sydney, I badmouth the Chiefs anyway, so it don't matter.
You're kind of salty about that Super Bowl.
You're salty. Okay,
I am not salty.
Whatever.
Look,
We're
I'm not. Me and Sydney got a bad history of from 2 years ago.
Y'all make me
about.
act like I'm a really bad person. I promise I'm not.
She's just really loyal and excited
really
about
loyal.
her Chiefs.
So we have a bad history from the Super Bowl about 2 years ago, and we've been taking digs at each other for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, it's fine.
And of the three of us, none of our teams will likely be in the Super Bowl this year. So
exactly,
we'll be all yelling about Justin's Jets or something like that.
The Jets, they ain't winning no more games. I'm sorry.
They've done their best. Maybe Keith's Bills or somebody.
We do appreciate y'all. Hit that like, subscribe. Let's get it up. Let's run these numbers up. You know where to find us on Twitter. We do respond on Twitter. We do respond on Instagram. If you find us, we will respond. So, hey, appreciate y'all.
All right. See y'all again next week and again on Saturday. Peace out.